What's good, YouTube? Dmgaming here, guys. Sorry for the late upload. It's been a busy day. Got home. We had to paint the field today, of all things, and spent a little bit of time with my family. So now I got to get this video in, and it's a good one. So I know everybody at this point in time have probably heard about the IGN article titled "Dragon Ball Z Kakarot: Everything New We Learned at Gamescom." And what I will try to do is, excuse me, put a link to this in the description box below. That way, if you haven't read the article, you can go and read it. But I am going to read the article and kind of review it over some stuff that we've talked about as well. So it says Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is shaping up to be what. Okay, first of all, this article was written by Mitchell Seisman. And this was August 26, 2019. Just have to give credit to the author. And it says, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is shaping up to be one of the most faithful recreations of Dragon Ball Z story ever told in video game form. And while it is being framed as the story of Goku, we learned at Gamescom what many already suspected. Goku's not the only playable character. Gohan, Piccolo, Vegeta, Trunks also named as playable characters, while Tien, Chiaotzu, and Krillin and Yamcha, he didn't list Yamcha there. Wow, that's crazy. Serving as support characters. I spoke with Ryosuke Hara. I'm gonna just say Hara, a producer at CyberConnect 2 for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, about how the characters will differ from each other and how character progression would work for multiple characters. The abilities in general of the characters are very similar in order to be user friendly. And so what he's saying is there are going to be some differences, but they're not like major differences for the characters. And that just makes it user friendly, even for people who play these kinds of games for the first time. But on the other hand, you are able to raise different skills and parameters for each character, said Hara. So basically what he's saying is that the characters, for the most, they'll control the same. I did notice Piccolo's fighting style is different than Goku's. There are some slight differences, but what he's saying is, although they may be similar for the most part, that the way that you upgrade them will be different, and you can make it unique for each character, basically is what he's saying. Okay, he says, sure enough, my hands-on time with Gohan felt very similar to the time I spent playing as Goku at E3. So he played the Gohan and Cell fight. Though Gohan has a technique called Rapid Fire Key Wave that allows the player to slow the action down, tag a bunch of enemies with their crosshairs, and then shoot out 20 blasts that all go towards the enemy you targeted. And I showed that in, I think, if it wasn't it was the video before last that we talked about that. I kind of showed that. It also felt very Asura's Wrath-esque in the best kind of way. And that is true. Asura's Wrath had something similar to that. If y'all haven't checked out that game, check out that game. PlayStation, it should be in PS Now or whatever. Especially was helpful in the fight against Cell once he splits into a bunch of weaker versions of himself. And you know what? I wonder, can Piccolo do that technique also? Because Piccolo has the multi-form technique. Krillin even used it sometimes. And I think even Tien used it. Tien even used it in Dragon Ball Super in the Tournament of Power. Hara said that there will also obviously be story-based power-ups based on the original story, like Goku learning Kaioken after training with King Kai, and learning how to turn Super Saiyan after certain events on Planet Namek, which that's expected. And guys, this is leading up to something, and I'm going to get to it here. Beyond that, there will be a skill tree. Guys, go back into the playlist. Remember the video we talked about skill tree? Guess what he's finna say? Guess what he's finna confirm? Exactly what we talked about with skill trees. It says here, there will be a skill tree that players can level up each specific move. For example, you can upgrade your Kamehameha to level 2, 3, etc. Guys, we literally talked about that very same thing. And that is so awesome, because in that video about skill tree, we literally discussed that very same thing. In that you're able to, remember we said that it would be kind of, I would like for it to have been like Assassin's Creed, where you can level up different things, but also you have your skills like Kamehameha, etc., and you can level them up. Like in Assassin's Creed, you had certain attacks that you can have level 1, 2, and 3 of that particular skill. And guys, they confirmed that they are indeed doing that in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. And remember in that same video, I think in the Gohan video, not in the same video, but in the Gohan video, I showed y'all how I was trying to figure out how much stamina Super Saiyan would take, right? And in Gohan's skills, it actually shows like tier 1, 2, and 3 has 1, 2, and 3 stars on those attacks. And remember I said, I don't know if it's like an attack that has been leveled up or if it's an attack that is just a rated 3 attack. So apparently, guys, you're able to level up your special attacks, which is awesome, which is something that we talked about that has yet again been confirmed for the game. Now, how will this affect gameplay? I don't know. What I would like to see is, say, a level 1 Kamehameha is small, a level 2 is bigger, a level 3 is really big. And also, I believe that, okay, so there's certain things that we know that there's cutscenes for super attacks. However, now we're looking at it as like if you have a level 1 Kamehameha, there's no cutscene for it. But if you have a level 3 Kamehameha, there's a cutscene for it because it does a lot of damage. However, it could be also, because I've noticed it, that whenever the opponent is stunned and you do a super attack, that it does a cutscene for it. So I haven't, they haven't specified that yet. So we're just kind of waiting to see confirmation on that. He says, let me go to the next one. As far as switching characters in and out goes, big story missions are locked to whatever characters canonically or canon involved in the fight. But there will be times where you're able to choose what character you want to take in the battle. And this confirms what I was telling y'all about playable characters in the video about playable characters, that people think playable characters is, oh, I can play as Gohan throughout the entire game. Now, you will be able to use, like Trunks, for example. Trunks will be able to be used in missions, in main missions where Trunks was available. Now, if you're not doing a main mission, yeah, you can pick Trunks and fly around with him, level him up, etc., etc. And this is what I was talking about with Vegito also, because Vegito was only available during the Buu fight, guys. So it's a difference between being able to play with a character and him being a playable character. When I was talking about Vegito being a playable character, not being a playable character, I'm not talking about you not being able to control him at all. What I was talking about was don't expect to be able to fly around the map as Vegito doing side quests and stuff like that. I think that Vegito comes present in the game as a special thing to the game, like the boss fights have different stages, and one of the stages may have you go to your transformations and do the fusion with Vegeta and then fight Super Buu, something like that. On the support character front, it says, when the situation allows for it, players can bring in up to 2 support characters that can be called upon to do unique skills. Remember, we talked about that as well, because remember I told y'all about the campfire and also about the little shading when they brought up the support menu. There's only 2. Tien and Krillin, for instance, can both use solar flares. Remember, we talked about that. While Yamcha can use his spirit ball, and it doesn't say Chaozu, but Chaozu uses some kind of paralyzation technique. And then he talks about the music. I know some people care about it, so he said he asked them whether or not we hear any other iconic Dragon Ball Z themes like Chala, Head Chala, which is a feature in its original version in the Raditz battle, to which he replied that it's Chala, Head Chala was the only song that was implemented in its original version. He said, but there are also other background musics that are adapted from the original version. So Chala is the only one that's original. It's going to be the original, but all the other ones are going to be adaptation. He said, finally, I asked whether or not players would actively be on the hunt throughout Dragon Ball Z Kakarot for the 7 Dragon Balls. Remember, we did a video asking about that, talking about that. Now they're finally starting to ask some of those questions. And he said that he replied saying that there were actually a hint in the Raditz demo about that, but wouldn't go into further specifics. And he assumes that the hint was that the Dragon Radar was there, like the thing that we saw in the images, because it wasn't there in the demo. So that's all from that article, guys. Basically, it just confirms a lot of what we have already talked about. But there was something that popped up on Twitter that Callaway Mr. Calloway tagged me in, and it was an interview with one of the other producers, well, with the same guy. And in that, they asked them 4 different questions about the game, nothing new that we don't already know. But the number 4 question was about training. And the way that the question was asked, it was asked in the sense of basically, how is training going to work in the game? Is it going to stick to the anime? And the way that he answered the question was different, because what he talked about was basically, he talked about it story-wise. So he talked about the hyperbolic time chamber with Goku and Gohan, and he talked about Gohan's training with Piccolo. So that's going to be representative of the anime. But I think what the person asking the question was really kind of hinting at was, how is training going to work compared, like, in the game? Because we know that there's training in the game. So how is that going to work? But he didn't answer the question like that. So we got to go with that. That's all that we got. It kind of sucks, but still haven't got any confirmation on training. Now, guys, I want to thank you all for 3,700 subscribers. I don't know if I did that in the last video or not, but I did want to do that. Thank y'all. I'm really grateful for that. Let me read, if I can get it to pull up, this question that they were asked. Let me back up. I got it here. I just want to read it for y'all. Okay, it says, the question was asked, how will the training moments from the series be translated into the game? So they did actually ask. When I read it the first time, it came off as them asking about training, probably because I was excited and I was reading it too fast. But they are actually asking about how training will be as far as it was in the anime. Like the training moments, like Gohan and Piccolo training, Goku and them training, Trunks and Vegeta training. And basically what he said is, well, I'll read it. Let's just go to it. He said, we tried different approaches to reproduce the training moments from the series in particular. And I'm waiting for the translation. Come on. The scenes in the hyperbolic time chamber where Gohan and Goku come to train were meticulously thought out. I mean, basically what he's saying is it's going to be in depth. So that's good to know. Still haven't got any confirmation on like the training grounds, but I know we'll hear that soon. PAX East or PAX West, I think it's PAX West, is going on from August 30th to September 2nd. And they are going to have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot playable there. So we could potentially get some more information, guys. So be on the lookout for that as well. But that's it. That's all I have for today, guys. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to get a drawing in. I didn't have time to do it. Actually, you know what? Tomorrow, guys, is going to be another late upload because we have a game tomorrow. The junior varsity is playing. And then Friday, the varsity is playing. So it's going to be tricky. I'm going to have a late video, and then I'll probably have to record Friday's video early in the morning, probably like 3 in the morning when I get up from my paper route. Get up and record that video and set it to upload around noon. So look out for that. Those videos are going to be coming. Till next time, guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.